everyone. I hope you're doing well. I wish you a nice May. Today I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about May and the astrological highlights, and then I'll let you know when Gary Gensler will probably change jobs, and then we're going to move into Bitcoin. Well, May is an interesting month because we have the eclipse on the 5th. Mercury is retrograde. Pluto turned retrograde the 1st of the month. The big event is Jupiter moving into Taurus, that it will remain there for about a year. And Jupiter in Taurus will be good for Bitcoin. On the 15th, Mercury turns direct. On the 19th, we have a new moon in Taurus. But around the 20th, there is a very interesting combination of planets happening in the sky. So I think around that time, we will see major events in global economy. And I'm talking about the T-square between Pluto, Jupiter, and Mars. One other thing that is important in May is because Jupiter makes some squares to planets, to Mercury, but also Mars. And Jupiter is a nice planet. It brings opportunities and luck. But the square points out to over-optimism. And I believe Bitcoin will do very well this month, especially after the 16th. But as I mentioned, you have to be cautious of over-optimism. But let's start with the full moon eclipse on the 5th in Scorpio, 15 degrees. This is a full moon eclipse, and full moons symbolize endings, but in Scorpio, it also means that you have to let intense feelings go. Also, Uranus is involved in this eclipse, and Uranus wants you to move out of your comfort zone and start being yourself, especially if you were born around November 7 to 11, May 5th to 10th, August 8th to 12th, and February 4th to 9th. Or if you do have any planets around 15 degrees of Scorpio. And because Uranus is also aspecting your sun, you probably experience sudden changes. Initially, these changes may upset you, but in the long run, you will realize that they occurred for your own benefit. Mercury will be retrograde until the 15th. Well, this is not tragic. We might have some miscommunication, but this is an ideal time to rethink maybe your financial goals, to rethink what changes can you make in your life to have more pleasure. But if I wanted to start something, I will probably start something new after the 22nd of the month. I'm not going to go through all the aspects of the month, just the main ones. This is the map of the new moon on the 19th in Taurus, and this is a nice new moon. It's not an eclipse, and it has a nice aspect to Pluto, but also Mars. It looks like a very transformative energy. But the next couple of days, we have the T-square between Mars, Pluto, and Jupiter. Jupiter moved into Taurus. Well, this is quite intense, and I believe around this time we will see major events happening in the global economy. This could also mean bankruptcy, maybe the stock market or banks will have major problems. Maybe that's why, maybe that's the reason that Bitcoin will go up around these days. Now, if you were born 1 or 2 days before or after April 20th, July 22nd, October 23rd, and January 20th, you should be a bit cautious because something could come up that will make you to overreact. You also have to be cautious and not take any foolish risks around this time, or be overly optimistic. Well, it also shows that you might start something new, but you have to be cautious of your reactions around these dates. Pluto will retrograde back into Capricorn on June 11th until next January, and therefore I don't believe that the bank crisis is over. On the other hand, Jupiter entered Taurus on May 17th and will remain there for 1 year. Taurus represents our values. This could mean positive developments in the markets. I believe the price of land could really go a lot higher, but this is also beneficial of all kinds of art. There is an interesting beneficial conjunction of Jupiter and the North Node. The North Node shows the future, and it works like Jupiter, so it expands. So the end of this month and beginning of June, this time looks very bullish for the markets in general. I'm really curious to see what will happen around that time. Now let's see about Gary Gessler. I hope I'm saying his name right. That he is a bit trouble for the crypto, although when he was lecturing in the universities was saying that 3/4 of crypto is not security. Anyway, I'm not going to go into detail on his natal chart and say things about his personality. I don't believe anybody really cares. But it looks like next February and March, he's going to go through some major changes. And I believe around that time, well, he might get fired or change jobs or something like that. Now let's move to Bitcoin. But before I do that, I would like to mention that this is not a financial advice. And in case you want your own predictions, you can get in touch with me. My email is in the description. I do have like 4 or 5 openings for June. So get in touch with me and I'll give you more details. So Bitcoin, I mentioned before that the end of the month, the price could drop because there was a difficult aspect between Venus and Neptune. But we are also coming up to a full moon, and usually Bitcoin's price drops on the full moon. But on the second and the third, there are some nice aspects occurring. So the price might not drop much or might go up for a couple of days. Although this eclipse has a beneficial aspect to Bitcoin's sun, the eclipse on the 5th, but at the same time, there is an inconjunct between Venus and Jupiter, a quincunx, and that shows the feeling of indecision, or that people want to decide between shall I take a risk or shall I play it safe? But there are some really nice aspects coming up for Bitcoin. After the 6th and the 7th of the month, we may also hear news that we kind of heard before, but these look like they're positive aspects, they're positive days for Bitcoin. I've received a question in the comments. Someone was asking me if I know which period the price of Bitcoin will be the highest in 2023. The truth is, right now, I'm not sure. I have to make a video for that. What I'm sure about is I believe in the autumn the price will fall. So, but let's move on. So I believe around the 10th and 11th, we might see a small correction there. That's the time also around the 12, 13, Mercury will be stationary. There are also nice aspects coming up after these dates. And I believe the dates are after the 15th and 16th. I mean, there are so many really nice aspects. The biggest one is Jupiter in Taurus trining Bitcoin's Pluto. That's two planets that mean a lot of wealth when they're making an aspect. But there are many more. Jupiter makes a sextile to Venus. But what I mentioned before about over-optimism is also happening at this time. So although Bitcoin looks that it's going really high around these dates, maybe until the 20th. The 20th and the 21st, or this couple of days, we could see some adjustments of the price because of major events that are occurring in global economy. Remember, I mentioned that when I described May, that around this time we do have major events. But that will probably last for a couple of days, because from the 23rd and onwards, there are still nice aspects of Bitcoin. So I think the price is going up. I mean, I can't tell you all the aspects now because the video will last for a long time. And this looks like it's going to continue until the end of the month. It looks like it's going to be a lot more adoption too. And I'm saying that because Uranus auspicious aspect to the asteroid Juno. Juno has to do with partnerships, but also the last days. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear good news regarding regulations. That will make us feel a lot more positive, but I can't stress enough that we have to be also cautious of over-optimism. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, my friends, and if you do, press the like button, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.